welcome back. This is video 2 of the Crossroads Cardigan Crochet Along. In this video, I'll be showing you how the upper back and upper front sections are worked. I won't be taking you through every stitch. This is more of a guide that will help you visualize how the sweater comes together. Before you begin, you'll need to choose your body size and your arm size. Then you'll need to pick out your yarn and make a gauge swatch. I cover these things in video number 1, so if you haven't yet, I recommend you go and watch it. You'll also need a copy of the pattern, whether it's a printed PDF or viewed on the blog, a 5mm hook, or whatever size hook you use to obtain gauge, scissors, and a measuring tape. So we'll begin with the upper back. This section is just one long rectangle. You're going to start off by chaining the amount specified for your size in the pattern, and then single crocheting in the bottom bar of the second chain and each chain across. I'll be making this sweater very small since I'm only making it as a demo for this video, so please don't pay attention to my stitch counts. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet in this bottom bar, and then I'll be back. So that is row 1 completed. For row 2, you'll turn, chain 3, and you'll double crochet in the next stitch and each stitch across. Once you have completed row 2, you'll repeat row 2 4 more times until you've completed 6 rows in total, counting from row 1. Now we'll do row 7. For this row, we'll be working forked cluster stitches. You're going to start by chaining 3 and then work a double crochet in the next stitch. Then you're going to chain 1 and work your first forked cluster. You will yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now you don't want this loop to be too tight, but you also don't want it to be too loose. You want it to be about somewhere in between. Then you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over and pull up another loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 4 loops. Now you're going to yarn over, skip 1 stitch, and you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, and pull up another loop. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through 4 loops again. Now you'll have 3 loops left. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that is your first forked cluster stitch. From there, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to work another forked cluster stitch, starting in the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, skip 1 stitch, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 3. So now you're going to keep repeating the chain 2 forked cluster pattern until there are only 2 stitches left unworked in this row. So now that we've worked across and there's 2 stitches left, you're going to chain 1 and you're going to place a double crochet in those last 2 stitches. So it's at this point that we should do a measurement. If you take a look at the pattern, under row 7, you'll see a gauge check. This tells you how wide your project should be according to your body size. So you'll just want to take a tape measure and measure the width of your project. If your project is not measuring right, you might want to pull it out and start again with a different sized hook. It is very common for people's tension to change when making a large project as opposed to a small gauge swatch, which is why I put these gauge checks into my pattern. So if your project is not measuring to be the right size, then I highly recommend that you pull it out and you start again with a different sized hook. Once you've measured and you're confident that you're on gauge, we'll continue with the upper back. If you take a look at the pattern, you'll see that you're going to work a number of rows. This number is determined by your chosen arm size, not your body size. You may remember in video 1, I discussed how to choose your arm size and the fact that you can choose whichever sleeve size you want, no matter what body size you're working. So take a look at the pattern and find your chosen sleeve size. Then you're going to work a repeat of rows 2 through 7 until you have the correct amount of rows, counting from row 1. So let's say for example, I chose sleeve size 10 inches. That means that I'm going to repeat rows 2 through 7 until I have a total of 10 rows, counting from row 1. If I was going to go with a 14-inch sleeve, then I would repeat until I have 14 rows. Once you have the proper amount of rows, you will bind off, and that is the upper back completed. Next, we'll work the upper front. You're going to want to flip your work so that the bottom of your starting chain is facing up and so that the right side of your project is facing you. Then you're going to join your yarn in the first stitch. Now you're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the number of stitches specified according to your body size. And then you're going to leave the rest of the stitches unworked. Then you're going to turn and continue working the pattern, which is mostly the same as the upper back pattern, but with a small change for row 7. Rows 2 through 6 are exactly like the upper back, just chain 3 and double crochet across. When you get to row 7, you're going to chain 3 and double crochet in the next stitch, and then chain 1 and fork cluster and chain 2 across, just like the upper back. But once you get across, you'll only have 1 stitch left. So you will chain 1 and double crochet in that last stitch. And now you'll want to repeat rows 2 through 7 until you have the same number of rows as you worked for the upper back. So for in my case, I worked 10 rows for the upper back. That means I want to repeat rows 2 through 7 until I have 10 rows for this upper front. Once you've completed all your rows, then you're going to bind off. Next, you're going to flip your work so that the right side is facing you again. And starting from the left side, you're going to count a number of stitches according to your body size and join your yarn in the last stitch you counted. Then you will chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch across. Turn, and then continue working rows 2 through 6, just as you did for the other front panel. Then for row 7, you will chain 4. This counts as a double crochet plus a chain 1. And then you're going to fork cluster across until you have only 2 stitches left, chain 1, and then double crochet in those last 2 stitches. And now you will repeat rows 2 through 7 until you have the same number of rows as you did for the upper back and for this side of the upper front. And then you're going to bind off. So your project should now look something like this. Now I want you to flip your work so that the wrong side is facing you, and I want you to fold down the upper front panels like this. Let's get all these ends out of the way. Just like that. Now you're going to secure these panels together at the underarms. To do this, I just take each of these yarn ends and I pass them through the first stitch on the other side and I make a knot. Just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be super secure. It's just there to hold the panels in place for when we begin the lower body. Okay, so I've made my knots here, just like that. And now your upper body is complete. In the next video, we'll work the lower body. I hope you found this video helpful. If you ever have any questions, feel free to post them in the group or message me directly. I love seeing your work in progress pictures, so post them if you can. And everyone who finishes their cardigan and posts a picture of their finished project will be entered into a draw. I'll choose 3 winners, and each winner will receive 3 patterns of their choice from my collection. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hooking!